Today we are finally driving the refreshed 2024 Hyundai Elantra N. So we've done many videos on this car. You guys know the deal. This is one of my favorite performance front-wheel drive compact cars. It's just fantastic at everything. It's a great daily driver, it's practical, it's comfortable, it's well priced. This is around $34,000 with the 6-speed manual. It has a 2-liter turbocharged 4-cylinder that makes 276 horsepower. It's rated for about 24 miles to the gallon. It's a good daily, it's a good track car. It does it all. It's front-wheel drive. It has an electronically controlled limited slip differential, electronically controlled dampers. There's a lot of tech here, and it ends up as a package that's more fun to drive than a lot of cars double or even triple its price. I think it's one of the best values in the market today. Hyundai has further refined their formula here for the 2024 model year. They've made some tweaks. Let's walk you around it, and we'll take it for a drive and see what type of differences we feel behind the wheel. So, starting on the outside, we have new forged 19-inch wheels. They save about 8 pounds per corner, which is huge. That's enormous. They look okay, but they save all this weight and you get less unsprung mass, which is always a good thing. New front bumper, new front end, allows for a little bit more cooling. I think it looks good. Nice. Clean design here from Hyundai. Good amount of room inside. Great packaging here. Still have these massive 2 exhaust tips in the back. Chassis braces. Room for a spare tire, but this just has a fix-a-flat kit. Fuel filler cap right here. You can run this on 87, but on 91, you get a little bit more boost. Love the back seat in this. This and the Civic. This actually might have more rear seat room than the Civic. This is huge. There's so much room. I'm 5'10". This is my driving position, and I have plenty of space to stretch out. My son can sit in his car seat here. I not have to kick the back of the seat all the time. No rear vents, no armrests, but you get a couple USB ports and just a nice view in this cockpit. You can see the slight change to the steering wheel there. We've got a black H logo there. Suede everywhere in the interior. I mean, you know, you've got cheap plastics all throughout. This is still a $30,000 interior, but everything just kind of makes it feel a little bit nicer. The red button for the rev matching, the blue accents, the ambient lighting, the stitching, the suede accents, it all just feels a little bit more premium. And for the money, probably one of the best interiors on the market in the performance space. This Elantra N is painted in cyber gray with all the red accents on the lower sills, the side skirts. I think it looks pretty good. Let's pop the hood here. Again, 276 horsepower, 289 pound-feet of torque. Heavy hood. This weighs about 3,300 pounds. Gets 24 miles to the gallon, 21 in the city, 29 on the highway. So I've seen driving these out to the track and whatnot as high as 32, 33 miles to the gallon on the highway. Takes 0W30 oil. Great engine, great exhaust. We're gonna listen to that a little bit on this drive because I feel like they've made some tweaks to the exhaust system in this 2024 model. We don't have as many pops and burbles. It doesn't seem as raw, as aggressive. Let's go into our N mode and listen to that for a minute. They're still there, but you don't notice them as much while we're driving. So the question today is, do all these little changes, these tweaks, the revised suspension bushings, the steering rack changes, the lighter wheels, do they all add up to a better driving experience? Let's hop inside and go find out. Here are my N mode settings for this drive. So engine is in sport, steering is normal, suspension is normal, rev matching, exhaust sound, ESC are all on their most aggressive settings, as well as the ELSD. So let's go for a drive. I love that we get a handbrake in this too. I like this sport engine mode because the throttle map is a little bit less aggressive and the exhaust is slightly less obnoxious. But still sounds nice in my opinion. First thing I'm noticing, shifter feels a little bit tighter, a little bit smoother, not as notchy and plasticky. I'm still not a fan of this knob, but you can always swap that out. That's an easy change. Good torque, good power here. We also have a slightly stiffer engine mount, though I've still had really bad wheel hop this week. Like engine hitting firewall wheel hop. Pretty typical with the Elantra N. We've seen it before, and we know that there's a fix out there with an aftermarket engine mount. That said, 99.9% of the time, this thing puts down traction beautifully because that front diff is magic. It's just so well done. I actually prefer the front diff in this over what's in my Civic Type R. I think it puts its power down better, and for an ELSD, it just performs amazing on road and on the track. Let's start off in normal drive mode here. We've got some interesting stuff going on. So I have noticed this week, this will default to rev matching off unless if you hit the rev button on the steering wheel. So you got to do the rev matching yourself, which is fine. It's nice. Good position for heel toe downshifts. The engine is responsive. There is a little bit of rev hang in normal mode, but all of that goes away once you put it into N mode. Suspension seems a little bit less punishing too. And I don't know if it's just me, but maybe the exhaust is a little bit more toned down. It seems a bit less aggressive, less raw. Turning, super sharp. This car loves to rotate. It's one of the best handling front-wheel drive cars I have ever driven. Yeah, what happened to the exhaust pops? There's a little one. But it seems like they've kind of done away with them. Riding on Pilot Sport 4S tires. This is one of the quietest iterations of that tire that I've driven on. Not a lot of road noise, not a lot of NVH. In my Civic Type R, they were almost deafeningly loud. And in many other applications, same thing. Except for Corvette and Elantra N, they were pretty quiet. Nice tire, good grip, good wet traction. A little bit softer, so you get some compliance out of the sidewall. I do think I'm getting a little bit better steering feel here. I can feel pavement textures. Let's push this around an entrance ramp and see how it feels like with some cornering load. Still not chattering away at me, but it's pretty darn good. It feels a little bit tighter. end buttons actually seem to be working how I remember them working, as opposed to how they were in the Ioniq 5N we drove a couple weeks ago. Single press is just your N standard mode. The left button is your custom 1, which I have set pretty much to turn everything off in the most aggressive setting. And then the right button is your N custom 2, which is a little bit more of a daily driven setup. Yeah, just some subtle changes here from Hyundai. Nothing major. Shift feels a little bit better. Steering feels a little bit tighter. Brakes are good. And I think we're lacking some personality from the exhaust. It feels like they added a resonator or something. It's just not as raw, not as raucous. Let's go into Engine Sport Plus. Exhaust, everything should be in its loudest settings. All right, there's some burbles. If we roll some windows down. Yeah, it's definitely more muffled, a little bit more muted. It's a really fun car. You get this Elantra N out on the highway, and it's a pretty comfortable cruiser. Like I said earlier, it gets about 33 miles to the gallon on longer trips. In the manual car, you just get regular old-fashioned cruise control with a lane centering feature, and that works pretty well. In the DCT car, you get highway driving assist, which works great, and that is a fantastic system to have. To be honest, this is one of those cars where I'm still a little bit torn between manual and DCT, just because the dual clutch is so good in this Elantra N. I think ultimately, with some of the changes in shift feel with this 2024 model, I'd probably pick the manual and just swap out the shift knob, because it is a good manual transmission to drive. There's no rev-hang, it's fun, the clutch is easy to use, it's satisfying. But that DCT is very tempting because it also is a fantastic transmission. Makes this a little bit faster too and more fuel efficient. Pretty quiet at speed too. Not a lot of wind noise, road noise. A little bit quieter than my Civic Type R, which is always nice. Power here feels a little bit down. I wonder if this car has 87 octane in it and it's not running 93. It kind of feels like that. It's nice that you can run 87 on it, but you're probably going to be seeing a bit of a power hit. Yeah, no more pops. There's a little one. There's that wheel hop. Absolutely brutal. That is this engine hitting firewall. I don't think it's as bad as it was before. This definitely seems to put its power down a little bit better. And overall, the engine mount seems a bit stiffer, but I'm sure they had to make a balance there between NVH and performance. Just such a great car to shift. This and the Civic Type R, and maybe the WRX, and the Civic Si. This whole class is just full of great manual transmissions. Suspension here is really, really good. In this normal mode, it's a pretty rough section of road, and it just soaks up everything. Rev matching works really well too. It's a good system. Alright guys, so what do we think? Yeah, still one of the best buys out there for 34, 35 grand. I don't know if I could decide between the DCT or the manual. Ultimately, it comes to personal preference. I like a manual car. I never really minded the looks of the older Elantra N. I thought it still looked pretty good. This front end is definitely an improvement. It's great that they're just still making this car. They've made subtle improvements. They haven't ruined the character. The only major change, I think the exhaust is a little bit more toned down. It just feels like they've added, it sounds like they've added a resonator in there. And I don't know if they have or not. I have to ask Hyundai and confirm that, but that's what it sounds like to my ear. It's still the best exhaust in the segment. Everything else just kind of sounds like a bland vacuum cleaner, and this has some personality to it. So props to Hyundai for that. Also, maybe this feels a little bit down on power because I'm used to driving my Civic Type R right now, and I just tuned that. And the last Elantra N that I drove was also tuned to about 330 horsepower. So, okay. Perspective. From the factory, this feels about like a perfect power number, though. It's really nice. Yeah, look how quick these shifts are, though. Look at this. No rev hang. Revs just drop in the time that it takes to change gear. That's how it should be. Lots of beeps and bongs notifying me that ESC is disabled. That's okay. I can live with that. If I didn't absolutely love my Civic Type R, I would go out and buy one of these. It's that good. The chassis is just sublime. The diff is magic. If you go over to Patty Boy's YouTube channel, you'll see his brother Will has raced his Elantra N in Time Attack. It's pretty much been flawless over the last couple of years, and it's been pretty competitive. These respond very well to modifications, a tune, a little bit of extra boost. There's a great aftermarket out there for them. And for the money, I mean, the newer WRX is pretty good. The Civic Type R is 10 to 15 grand more expensive than this. It is a better car ultimately, but to drive, they're about just as fun and just as fast. Neck and neck on track in terms of lap times. The Type R feels a little bit more special, a bit more refined, a bit higher quality, but I'd be willing to sacrifice 10 to 15 grand for maybe a little bit more fun in the Elantra N. Anyway, you guys know the deal. We've done a bunch of videos on this car. This new 2024 car is just a little bit of improvement here and there. Subtle changes, subtle tweaks. Nothing revolutionary. Some of the stuff I don't even know if I can really feel, but it's great that Hyundai still sells it, still offers it. It's got the right formula. Handbrake, manual, great powertrain. There isn't really anything about this Elantra N that I don't like. The Kona N is also a lot of fun. That's DCT only, but that's a rowdy little thing. I would have one of those too. But you get more space, a more usable package in this Elantra N, and probably overall a better vehicle. But the Kona N is extra spicy. It's actually really fun to drive on the street. Let's go full stiff and standard mode. Hard on the brakes. Oh, the front end is just so sharp. I love it. Fast steering ratio too. Do not need a lot of steering angle to get this car turned in. And for less money than one of those, it makes for just incredible value. Alright guys, that's it for this one. Thanks for watching. We'll see you in the next video. Take care.